My name is Leslie Draper. I am the 316 director here at Definiti. And I first wanted to start with the 316 plan administrator. And we will go ahead and get started here. So, did you know plan sponsors are a fiduciary? 82% of plan sponsors do say that fiduciary matters are important. However, more than one third don't realize that they are considered a fiduciary. So, how do we define a plan fiduciary? The Employee Retirement Act, ERISA, outlines several duties that a fiduciary performs. So, I've listed them here. Some of these duties can be outsourced, as we'll talk about today, and other duties do fall on the plan sponsor. So just to kind of go through this list, fiduciary, they perform and review if fees are reasonable. They make sure investments are diversified and are in the best interest of the plan participants. A fiduciary is going to ensure that the terms of the plan document are followed. A fiduciary also makes those decisions about the plans and the investments that are offered. And then it also comes down to a fiduciary is administrating the plan. So a 316 fiduciary works with the plan sponsor to ensure that the plan is created and managed according to the criteria set forth by ERISA. So every plan needs a plan administrator, and Definiti can help you with that. You can either do it for your plan or we can help do that for you. So ERISA does allow for a plan to add a 316 fiduciary to manage those day-to-day plan administrations that come into play and are key to ensuring that a 401k plan is run in accordance to the legal documents. So part of those day-to-day functions are going to include, uploading payroll to the record keeper, determining eligibility and automatic enrollment, preparing the annual census for the year-end compliance testing, reviewing and approving all loans, distribution, and withdrawals that come out of the plan, ensuring that all required notices are sent out to participants along with the summary annual report, and then also signing and filing that 5500. Oh, here's the good news. It doesn't have to be hard. We at Definiti are here to help you as really an extension of your office to be a co-fiduciary when it comes to these types of administrative tasks that would typically fall on you as the plan sponsor. So, why the Definiti service suite is better. We take the stance that we do not pick and choose these from the certain administrative tasks that need to be completed. Definiti will sign on as a co-fiduciary to the plan, and we are named as a plan administrator in the adoption agreement through our 316 services. And we do prepare, sign, and file the Form 5500 on behalf of the plan. So let's take a look at the plan rules and kind of go over who does what when it comes to Definiti as your third-party administrator and as your 316. So with that, as a plan sponsor, you're going to really focus on your participants and you're going to be the one to really select the service providers for the 401k plan. The plan sponsor will provide timely information to the third-party administrator, Definiti and 316, so we can do our responsibility, ensure that your plan is in compliance. The plan sponsor, along with the financial advisor, it coordinates to review and be responsible for any investment-related requirements, so the fund lineup, the funds that are available. And part of the role of a plan sponsor is to ensure that contributions are set up in payroll, that those deferrals, those loan payments, if you have loans, are coming out of your participants' paychecks if they want to defer. So moving along to Definiti as the TPA, providing those services are going to be plan design consulting, plan document notices is what they will prepare, completing the annual administration, performing those non-discrimination testing that have to be done once a year, preparing the Form 5500, and assisting with participant withdrawal services. Now, with 316 added on to that, as I mentioned, we do sign on as a co-fiduciary on any administrative issues and tasks that need to be completed. If we have access to your payroll vendor, we're here to help prepare the annual census that is needed at the end of each year. So what that looks like is we would be able to log into your payroll vendor, pull the annual census, and provide it to Definiti so they can do their compliance testing. We also determine eligibility and help track automatic enrollment, distribute all notices, including the summary annual report, directly to your participants. We do offer upload services, so we can submit contributions on behalf of you as a plan sponsor to your record keeper. We sign and file the Form 5500. We take the position of the plan sponsor and we approve all loans and distributions and withdrawals, and we monitor timeliness of contributions. Now, then your record keeper is also part of this. So your record keeper is going to be the ones who can provide participant education, manage and track employee investments. They provide the participant account statements. They produce the website support for your participants to log in so they can see where their funds are allocated. They prepare the investment fund notices, and any administration forms are held through the record keeper. So as we move along, I did want to touch base and go a little more in depth of the services that we do provide and how those look and feel to you as the plan sponsor. So one of the main tasks that I mentioned previously was we can upload under 316 services your payroll submission to the record keeper. So if we do have reporting access to your payroll provider, we will go in, pull that payroll file from your payroll provider. We will upload it and submit it to the record keeper. After we do that, we will send a confirmation back to you for your records. So we're ensuring that the data is submitted timely. If there are any issues that we see, we certainly jump in and work with all parties, your payroll vendor, your record keeper, to help resolve those quickly. And this is really a time saver for you as the plan sponsor. And not only a time saver, but we're also ensuring that your contributions are being submitted timely.
Leslie, I'm going to jump in here for just a quick second. It's one of the questions that came up yesterday about record keepers, and because we had a question earlier about Secure 2.0, I just thought this would be a good opportunity for us to address it. A record keeper is a company that holds the funds for your participants. I'll mention a few that were on our sponsorship, right? So John Hancock, Transamerica. So that's going to be your record keeper, whereas your payroll provider is somebody different, maybe ADP or Paylocity, something like that, right?
That is correct. So your payroll provider is going to be, as you mentioned, somebody who a payroll vendor such as Paychex, ADP, Paycor, and we work with all of them. So as long as we can get reporting access, we're happy to assist with uploading payroll. Thank you, Elke. So along with that, for all of our clients under 316, we are doing payroll monitoring. So we monitor the timeliness of the payroll contributions based on your payroll frequency. We do this on a per payroll basis. So we're consistently making sure that those payrolls are processed, whether it's us as 316 processing those payrolls to the record keeper, or if that's something that's already done through either the payroll vendor and integration or you as the plan sponsor. We're still going in to make sure that the timeliness of contributions are submitted. And this helps keep the plan compliance. The Form 5500 does ask about any late contributions. So we certainly want to get ahead of that so there's no surprises at the end of the year that there's any late contributions. With any late contributions, there could be some lost earnings that would have to be applied. So we do with this function, want to make sure that we're avoiding any sort of, missed deferral, missed contributions and late contribution payments. So again, as I mentioned previously, part of our 316 services is to determine eligibility. We do base it off of your plan's eligibility requirements and your plan's entry date frequency. We will partner with you to determine those eligibility. So what we do is we calculate the eligibility, determine who is eligible, and then from there we will communicate out to you who we reflect as eligible. We want to make sure that we're on the same page when it comes to eligibility. And just in case any of those newly eligible participants have happened to terminate, we certainly want to run that through you. So after we've calculated eligibility, determined who is ready to join your plan at that entry date, as your 316 administrator, we will distribute all of the enrollment materials and required notices directly to your participants. And we do that typically via work email address. Otherwise, we can always use personal email addresses, or we can do hard copy mailings as well. Another thing that I wanted to touch base on was distribution. So if you're a plan that has a lot of distributions coming out, or if you allow for loans or hardships, this is something that 316 would take on as the 316 fiduciary provider for the plan. So what we look at, we do take on the responsibility to ensure that a participant is even allowed to take that distributions. We're also looking at, do they have enough funds to take out a loan? And if a distribution is allowed for the plan. As well as hardships. So hardships is one that we are heavily involved in to ensure not only is that participant eligible to take a hardship, but are they meeting that criteria to take a hardship and providing us with the documentation that is needed? So if everything is in good order, we do have signing authority to approve all distributions coming out of the plan, whether it's signing authority on the record keeping paper forms, or if it's approval authority online, where we log in and approve the distribution online as the plan sponsor. So again, if this is something that is taking up a lot of your time, you have a lot of hardships or loans coming out of the plan, or just distributions in general, we step in the place of you as the plan sponsor and can help save time there. So moving on to the Form 5500 and the summary annual report that I mentioned earlier, under 316 services, we do review and sign off on the 5500 as the plan administrator. Once we sign off on the 5500, we will pull a copy of the signed 5500 and send to you for your records. And then we will ensure that that summary annual report is distributed to all participants as well. Alrighty, moving along to notices. So part of our 316 services is to ensure that all of the notices, all of the required notices are sent out directly to your participants. And sorry, I got my water and my lemon water here, so I'm kind of switching back and forth.
That's great. No, I think that's a wonderful. I'm going to give you a pause here, Leslie, let you rest your voice. Because the notices, as you're about to get into those, I do want to make sure that we have a minute to talk about those. I think it's one of those delivering notices. The plan sponsors are getting notices from Definiti, they're getting notices from the record keeper. And I know later we've got a slide or two where we're going to talk about that. We may want to bring that up now, and just so as you're talking about the delivering of notices, kind of go through those, what those are, maybe give people an idea about what they can expect about how the 316 services really step in and help.
Yeah, so thank you, Elke. So there are several notices that are required to go out to participants throughout the plan year. The main notices are going to be the annual notices that are required to go out 30 days in advance of the beginning of the plan year. So if you're a calendar year-end plan, a 1/1 effective plan, all this is the time for notices. And as 316, we're working to get those out. The deadline for notice delivery for annual notices delivery is December 1st. So those notices do include if you're a safe harbor plan, there's a safe harbor notice. If you allow for automatic enrollment, if you have that provision in your plan, there is an automatic enrollment notice. There's also what we call the 404A participant fee disclosure. That is a disclosure that needs to go out to all of the participants to inform them about the cost and the investments. That is typically produced by the record keeper. So we'll pull that notice from the record keeper. We'll include it in the annual notice packet. A little bit later, this is in a slide, but the QDIA notice, your qualified default investment alternative notice, is another notice that has to go out. So as you can see, there are several required notices that need to be delivered. And as 316, we currently track all of the notices that need to go out. But what I wanted to touch base on too was, I mentioned this before, we calculate eligibility, but we're also ensuring that all of those newly eligible notices go out. And then if there's any fun changes, updates on your record keeping platform, we are here to help get that notice out as well. The nice thing is, if we do have reporting access to your payroll provider, we can go ahead and pull those addresses and emails directly from your payroll provider, giving us that that direct access will help save you time again on your end, so we can go directly to your payroll provider for that information.